Hi, I'm Matt Bradford. I'm the CTO of InsightETE. We're an IT performance analytics company. And if you work with IT monitoring in any capacity at all, I am positive that you have actually had an issue with the topic that we're going to be discussing today, and that is the topic of static thresholds. And so, to put it very bluntly, static thresholds suck. But why do we even use them? Well, it all goes back to about 40 years ago when we were first starting to have to put some instrumentation around the first interactive systems. And so back then, things were obviously very, very different. For instance, you had the issue of disk space costing, hundreds of dollars per megabyte. You had memory that was extremely limited. CPU power was far from something that you could just take for granted. And so as a result, we needed to be able to summarize things the best way possible to go and capture 70 to 80% of what problems could actually be. And that's where static thresholds come from. However, now things are very different. We have data, that is just out, just crazy amounts of data, crazy amounts of drive space, crazy amounts of memory, crazy amount of CPU, and yet our monitoring is still based upon a static threshold. So why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons for it, but I can certainly tell you why you shouldn't follow in their footsteps. So here's what we have. So say this is an average daily trend for a particular metric. So let's say CPU usage on a major system. And that all looks fine. Now, the problem is that what you're going to end up doing when you're setting a static threshold is you're either going to set it way too high to where only the worst problems are actually going to get through, or you're going to have to go ahead and set it way too low to where you're getting a ton of alerts about stuff that is normal for every single day, right? So what if there were a way to do something a little bit different? What if there's a way to actually take a look at how your application has been performing historically and then predict what it should be doing in the future? All right, so now what we actually have here is we have the ability to take a look and say, okay, for this time of the day, and actually having a peak usage rate or somewhere in the middle of the day there, we can actually see that, when it's spiking up high like that, it's supposed to. It does it every single day. And if it's been doing it every single day for the last 6 months, then guess what? You probably want it to. However, on this particular day, we have a situation now where we're actually above where it would typically be. And so, could that be a hacker? Could that be a code issue? Could that be something? We don't know, but what we do know, though, is that this right here is an anomaly. And this is what you need to be looking at, not this. This is normal. This is interesting. And looking at interesting things is actually what we at InsightETE help you do. So if you're interested in learning how we can go ahead and do this, not just for the data that we collect, but for any data that you might already have in your environment, then please go ahead and check out the link right about here and schedule a free demo with us. And that said, I'm Matt Bradford with InsightETE, and keep collecting data.